What does a chief human resource officer do? Actually, a lot. All the things that are non-transactional end up on their desk, and they have to supervise all the transactional things as they go through. Somebody's going to call and say, payroll messed up my check. Let me check on that. That's part of the job too, because it's a human issue. And sometimes it takes the chief to sit down there and go sort it out as you go through. Sometimes an employee is brand new and you want to welcome them in. And that sometimes is your job too. And sometimes it's a great privilege to do that. Other times, the supervisor is not doing their work. You have a dialogue with them. Did you really do that? You said this to the employee. You actually created a 14-page memo for disciplinary action. Our guideline is only 1 to 2 pages maximum, and you went way far beyond. Okay, let's go through and edit this. I'm going to have this person work with you on this. Bring it. Those dialogues happen as you go through. You mean you want to fire somebody and they've never had an evaluation for the last 364 days, and you want to fire them before 1 year is up? 1 year ends at 5 o'clock today, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You want to fire them with no documentation? Those dialogues happen, and those are all the things that human resource officers do as you go through. The 4 basic things: a good solid sense of business as you go through. There's a good professional technical knowledge as you go through the process. A lot of the management of change process, what it takes to change an organization, and a lot of it's integration of competence into the organization, especially in your area in human resources as you go through. I rolled into a job once upon a time in my very first supervisory job with the giant union, and I walked in and I had 63 grievances in my area the year before. I didn't understand. It was pretty clear and everything else. The first year I was there, we went down to 3 grievances. How do you stop a grievance mill? How do you reduce that conflict? You talk a lot, you engage, you talk to the employees, you sit down, and sometimes you do some strange things, and sometimes you sit down and say, well, you mean you really did that? Are you serious? Boy, okay, this is your last chance. Happens again, bad things will happen. Well, what bad things? Suspension, maybe waterboarding. No, we stopped waterboarding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that being said, all this stuff is a bit of competence as you go through what you need to know, some of the different aspects of it. At the end of the day, the chief human resource officer bears responsibility for leading everything in human resources. If it goes wrong, you'll get blamed. If it goes right, the CEO gets the credit. Huh? Yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, you got to ensure the HR systems, they deliver good, solid value on a regular basis. And there's really a whole series of time you spend on 7 different roles. Here's kind of the 7 roles, and you'll see yourself, once you sit in the chair at this level, you'll see that you're workforce centered, that people sit down, they want to bring their problems to you to see how things are going, and you have to know what's going on out there. You're an advisor for the strategic planning, you're an executive coach, you're the liaison to the board as you go through. You really are an architect to develop the future aspects of the talent in the organization. You're a functional leader. All these things as you go through, people look to you to be the representative as you go through. Let's look at them individually. As a strategic advisor to the executive team, you typically sit with the other chiefs. That's why it's called the chief human resource officer. You'll sit with your chief business officer, your chief executive officer, your chief marketing officer, your chief IT officer, whatever chiefs are there, and you're going to advise them for different activities for different things like staff development, disciplinary action, future needs that you have as you go through. A lot of times you have to keep your mouth shut. People will bring things to you on a confidential basis, and you have to deal with some of the most volatile human issues as you go through. Once upon a time, I had a college president go through, send me an email that was confidential, and he said some things that should never have been said in an email, number one, except he carbon copied 108 management people at his college. And it was 7:18 in the morning. I pulled into the parking lot. At 7:19, I had an IT person give me a call and says, Dr. Bouguet, this happened over here. I said, read it to me. Really? And I said, can you kill it? He says, I'm trying to pull it back, and I only got back 79 of them. You mean there's almost 40 of them floating out there? He said, well, yeah, they had an automatic bounce to another email address. I can't get them. I says, install a worm. So he put a worm in to sit down and eat the rest of the emails. It was done about 3.5 hours later. But 3 minutes after I finished talking to him, the president called me in tears, saying, oh my God, I did this. I says, yes, you did. I says, let me deal with the outlay. And in the meantime, You got to do some soul searching. You should never have sent that to begin with. That's a phone call, not writing as you go through. Yes, those things happen and they're part of human resources as you go through. Sometimes you want to create something. It's a lot of fun to sit down and create something out of nothing, and you get the best talent for something as you go through. And sometimes the best talent isn't the best talent that you thought it was as you go through. Sometimes this depends as you go through. You want to sit down and recruit the best people possible for the job. You got to talk to a board and you got to explain things to the board. You got to be calm, competent as you go through, and trustworthy. You lead the HR function. You got to sense what's going on about the morale issues and concerns. My vision of human resources has always been that human resources should be a safe place for people to come and bring their problems and talk to confidentially, and let us help you be successful in your work as you go through, supervisors and employees as you go through. And a lot of times you're out there, you're meeting different stakeholders of the organization, and you represent the organization that you're in. Human resources, I have to tell you, as a chief human resource officer, it's a great career pathway. It's pretty tough as you go through. A big part of it is you're the CEO advisor, and you got to help them avoid being blindsided by different aspects of it. You want to be brilliant in the aspect of bringing great talent in the organization. You're a legal advisor, you're a board liaison. There's a lot of different duties, but overall, human resources is probably one of the most interesting areas of any organization as you go through, because you got the one word out there that's so big, it's called human in the process. Take care.